been goofing off with this, well, actually, that's not a very professional term. I've been using this Para-Expert 1911 for some time now, shooting it and things like that, and I've gone ahead and switched out the polymer grips that came with it with some Hogue rubber molded grips that actually fit perfectly on the gun with no issue at all, and it also gave a better feel to the firearm so far. I haven't shot it with these grips, but so the next thing I was doing is I was noticing that you can get extended guide rods for these guns, and a lot of these 1911s, this has already been safety checked, don't have guide rods. They just have a standard spring inside with a cap and a barrel keep. And so I've been reading that you can actually put extended guide rods in it, and a lot of times people claim that it improves the accuracy, it can improve the cycling of the firearm and things like that. And so I did a little bit of research, and I found this Wilson Combat 25G guide rod, which is theoretically supposed to fit a Para standard, and I think they had like a Para 14 Elite or something like that on their list. But from everything I found, it looked like this actually would fit this gun. So I picked it up off of Midway for a not very bad price, and I decided I'm going to put it in this gun, see if the gun cycles. If the gun hand cycles and is smooth and fluid and ejects a few dummy rounds, I'm going to go ahead and shoot it with this extended guide rod in it. And then I wanted to see about getting your guys' input about how can I test the difference between with an extended guide rod and no extended guide rod, and a good way to see if it really does improve. And so I was thinking about doing two different tests. Is one, shooting it with the guide rod and shooting it without the extended guide rod, and seeing if it changes my accuracy between two magazines of 8 rounds apiece. And then also I was going to take my GoPro Hero 4 and a JVC camera and film it at roughly 120 frames on the GoPro, and I think my JVC does 240 frames at like 480. So it's not very good quality, but it might show a difference between with and without the extended guide rod. And so I was kind of curious what you guys were thinking on how to test it. But not to get ahead of myself, I'm going to take this guide rod out and put it in the gun first. And I thought I would do that with you guys now. But when I was fooling around with it earlier before I did this video, I noticed that there's not a lot of slack. This ring actually gets caught, but that's only if it's like bound on there a certain way. So I'm kind of wondering if that's going to fool with it, or if I will have to polish this up. And there's things I can see in this guide rod as well, and you can't see it on this camera at all, but there's machine rings from when this was turned, and you can just see it. You can literally see the rings in this. So I'm already kind of a little bit of a skeptic of this, but I mean, this may break in. I don't know. I'm going to see what happens, but I've already safety checked this gun, so I'm going to pull this puppy apart, and I'm going to try not to shoot my, or not literally shoot, but launch the, this is hard to do on camera, for one. So I'm going to, there we go. So there's that. Then, whoop, pull this puppy apart. So there's the old guide rod and cap, and you can see that obviously the cap is a different length for sure. So I'm going to seat the barrel, take the guide rod, lay it in place on the barrel. Then I'm going to slide this puppy back on, see if it'll even go, which it does. Oop. I don't do this in my sleep, so you guys, there's probably people freaking out right now, but I'm gonna have to just chill out. So I'm gonna keep the original spring. So it fits so far. I'm gonna take this guy. This is where it like really wreaks havoc on your hands. See, and then so it's getting difficult because the guide rod obviously won't just automatically slide into the cap. Okay, you're gonna have to bear with me, guys. It took me a little bit getting this guide rod to seat in this collar. It was a little bit more difficult than I kind of assumed. Obviously doing it on camera is a little bit harder as well. But you can see I got it to function just fine. It's sliding. It obviously looks a little bit different. So yeah, got that extended guide rod in. It really doesn't feel much different. I can obviously hear this ring sliding underneath the barrel, but there's a little bit of catching in the action. So yeah, let's kind of see what happens here. So I've gone ahead and loaded up some snap caps. Ugh, you don't want that to happen. So locked on empty. That's definitely a good sign. We'll just have to go out and shoot it and see if it'll actually cycle with the extended guide rod. So let me know what you guys think. What would be a good way to actually test and see if this guide rod changed as anything? And then, like, I kind of noticed too as well, with the gun in a locked back position, there's no play in this. There's actually more play in the barrel than there is in the guide rod. The guide rod is extremely tight. It's really no give up or down or left or right. But it definitely feels different, but I don't know if it's going to make a huge difference or not. But I was thinking what we'll do is we'll shoot it with the factory spring, but with and without the guide rod, and we'll test it shooting it with one magazine at a time, 8 rounds apiece, and see if the accuracy changes at all. And I'll probably shoot the gun with my camera as I'm shooting the gun in high speed and see if we can see a difference. We'll do a comparison between each cycle. So all right, let me know what you guys think. Take care, and I will catch you later.